they would be animated different as well. I can do this quadrillions, sextillions of times, and it would not be the same. It's just like this. This is the game. And the cats that you're looking at now don't have mutations. These are just basic cats. This guy looks cool. And if this was the main game, you would also see that these have names. And they actually have a little... Oh, that's a cool one. All right. Let's see. I want to find another... I kind of want to do this. Let's see what happens here. No, I want the pink one. Let's put these guys together. Boom. Interesting. Interesting. That's cool. Anyway, so you can see there's a percentage here, an inbreeding percentage. Why is that there? Well, that's there in real life to stop you from breeding with your parents and your relatives. In the game, it works really well because you get in a situation where once your cats are really good and you keep breeding them and you get a little busted, it gets really hard to keep the cats away from each other. Like, they're still just cats. You can separate them and whatever else, but you can't really control it that well. You're gonna get some inbreeding. So if we go like this, we got a cat that's a little bit inbred. And then let's do this. And okay, so now we got our first inbreeding mutation here. He's got backwards legs. That's bad. So sometimes you can generate them and it's kind of whatever. Or he's got shovel teeth. And these all come with negatives. So there's no positive to having a birth defect from inbreeding. It's bad. And it will slowly nerf your cats, and it's really, really hard. Once they're just a little bit inbred, like this one's 37%, they're going to stay that inbred, even though this guy only has a wrenched tail. For the most part, it's... Oh, fuck. Here we go. Oh, we got some Cyclops. Let's see what we can do here. Let's go... Yeah, we're into cleft palate territory. Anyway, there are a billion birth defects, and they can really screw up your bloodline. And it's it's really cool. It's really amusing. It's really tragic, and they start to also get disorders heavily when they're all mangled up, and it makes it much harder to continue your run. So you've got to like try to juggle, kind of juggle all this together, which makes it interesting. Sadly, we couldn't explain this thing that I've been explaining for the past 15 minutes in a trailer. But yeah, a lot of people are like, well, I thought this game was about breeding cats. Yeah, it is very much about breeding cats. There's a crab on my head. There's a crab. Anywho. I've got like 15 more minutes. What did you guys want to talk about? How's the pinball machine collection going? I just got a fun house. And it's really good. That one's cool. Could I release that debug? No. You can do this in game. You just literally... Can I just... Here, one sec. I'll show you. We'll go furniture test. Okay. I'll show you. I'll show you how it works. So I can get... Okay. Here's a house. This is a starting house. You can see here that this room has 4 comfort, 1 stimulation, no health, no mutation chance. That's what all these different things mean. Comfort. The more comfortable a cat is, the more likely it will be to breed. The more stimulation a cat has, the more likely they are to pass down their genes to their kittens. Health fixes things that are wrong with the cats, and mutation will give them random mutations. I've got 25 meat. I've got no cats, and I've got no money. I can hold 100 currently. It is Friday, June 1st. I have one appeal, and I don't have much I can do. If I pass the day, nothing occurred because there's no cats. Oh, Jack's here. One sec, let me skip this. This is a bit spoilery, so ignore. Here we are. As you can see, it's Coda. Coda is now visiting the house. We're gonna take Coda, and we're not gonna put it in this pipe. That's bad. We're gonna bring Coda over here. Coda is a boy, and we're gonna right-click on Coda, and we're gonna get some information. This is just the start of the game, so this is bare bones. My NPCs have not informed me of anything extra, so this is just the essentials here. We've got strength, dexterity, charisma, intelligence, speed. Wait, I said charisma. This is constitution. Charisma and luck. And this cat has unclassed, and he has one ability, and the ability is called Focus, which gives him dexterity, and it costs 4 mana. And if I didn't class him, he would keep this basic attack, which is just a melee attack that deals damage equal to its strength. You can kind of see it looks a little greenish up here. That means that is slightly above average. You can kind of scroll through here and see what all these things do. Cat in the house. If I go to end day, one cat will eat 1 unit of food. As you can see, nothing of significance occurred. The cat slept through the night. Go to the next day. He has eaten 1 unit of food. And we've got another stray. And this stray is Jezebel, and it is a girl, luckily. We're going to take Jezebel, put it in the house. Jezebel is not charismatic. They are very strong, which is pretty awesome. And they're very, very fast, too. And they have an ability called Vet Visit. They also have a range attack. Let me, 1 sec, I need to check something. We're gonna go with safe humping animation so I won't get kicked out of TikTok. So we're gonna hope that these cats like each other. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We're gonna pass the day. Nope. We're gonna pass the day again. Come on. They don't. So who knows? One of these cats could be gay. One of these cats, maybe the low charisma one, is just not. It's not happening. Let's see. What do we got here? We got Chewbacca. We're gonna bring Chewbacca in and see maybe if Chewbacca likes Jezebel. Maybe Jezebel's gay. We don't know. Okay, we're gonna end the day. Once again, they're not mating. Okay, and when they pooped on the furniture. So that actually lowers the comfort level, and so do the cats and the health. So we got to make sure that's out of here. We got somebody else. It's Sonia. We're losing food here. We got 17 left, and they're eating 3 every single time. We're going to see it again. Come on. There we go. All right, they finally got together, and they've done something wicked, and they have made a kitten. And the kitten looks a lot like its mom. It's got its dad's eyebrows. And does he have yeah, he has like the little leopard texture too. So let's check him out, or what are they? Her. It's Christy, the baby. Yeah. So let's get her real quick and check her out. She didn't inherit much from the parents. She's not bad. She's not the smartest cat in the world, and she has a new ability, which is cool. So in this game, once you get 4, or as many cats as you want, ideally 4, you would then take them, put them in this box, and then you'd click depart. Let me see if it's a spoiler here. 1 sec. Okay, no spoilers. So at this point, then you would want to class your cats. And in the beginning of the game, you've got fighter, hunter, mage, and tank, and you've only got 1 of each. That changes a lot as you play. I can now class these cats. We've got, Jezebel should probably be a fighter because her strength is so high. So we would class her as a fighter. And each cat has its own vocal set. So if I like, you can kind of hear it. This is actually Danielle. And Coda could be a, we'll say, tank. And then I would lock in and we start the adventure. And the adventure starts in the alley. I've got my little inventory up here. I've got no items yet, but I will get a lot of them. I can cycle through my cats. And we've got this map system here, which is combat, item, event, etc. And if I click this, they will start combat. And here it goes. Now, enemies move, well, all things move, all units move depending on, the turn order is dependent on their speed. So I don't have the fastest cats in the world. So the turn order is looking like this. I got some slow ass cats. And in this game, it's a turn-based strategy game where you go around and kill things. And I don't want to spoil any more of this, so I'll stop here. But that's the basics of breeding in this game and the very basics of, you know, how it kind of works. Do you all get that? Do you get that? Did you get that? Plans for a demo before release? No, I don't think this game needs a demo. I think it would cut into, realistically, it would probably take a month more dev time to make a cool enough demo to demo this thing. I think you could just literally see if I played this for another 20 minutes, you would know if you wanted it or not. And I think that's, you know, good enough. And we'll be showing a good amount of footage of the actual game combat and how the game works via IGN at the end of the month. They're coming over and they're going to do a hands-on, and they'll be showing like a really cool in-depth video of how it plays, probably early next month. How long to 100% the game? I have no fucking clue. If you missed what I showed earlier, I showed my save file, which is at 100 and whatever, 14 hours. And I'm 2/3 of the way finished with the game. When I finish it, I will not have 100%ed it. So I don't know. There definitely will be a Mewgenics 4 Souls expansion for sure. And for those of you who have not wishlisted this game on Steam, please just go do that. Go to Steam, click wishlist. Not only will it remind you when the game comes out, or update you with the blog updates that we do monthly, which are pretty in depth, but it'll also help with the algorithm, and it'll actually like show the game existing to other people that may like some kind of game. And it is Mewgenics. The game is Mewgenics, like eugenics, but with the sound a cat makes. Yeah, Mewgenics will definitely have at least one DLC. That is a definite. We locked new content down last year, and since then we've had a DLC tab for ideas that we would like to explore in a DLC. Mewgenics merch. I'm trying not to do much in terms of merch until the game is out. But we will probably do something with Maestro Media closer to launch. I want to make a comic again. I want to remake the comic. I don't know how many of you knew that there was a Mewgenics comic, but there was. We gave it away at PAX in like 2013. And I'd like to remake it because it was pretty cool and not many people saw it. And I want to use it as like a press pack that I'd send out to press. But I thought, well, if we're going to just make a press pack anyway, then might as well make it available for fans to buy the same thing if they want. Are there only 9 class slots? I don't know. You never know. You never know. I'll tell you there's more than 9 slots because there's ways to manipulate things in that area. Like maybe you'll find a way to have 2 tanks available. There are a lot of NPCs that completely manipulate and break the rules of the game and allow you to make every aspect of the game more vast. There is multi-classing. You multi-class in many different ways, but the easiest way is to breed a cat who's been out on an adventure with another cat that's been out on an adventure, and the kitten will be born with either 1 or 2 abilities from their parents from the start. And then you would choose to class it a different class. And there's a lot of items and abilities that literally say like this cat, whenever it levels up, can also gain abilities from the tank pool or whatever. Lots of ways to do that, but we try to shy away from it in the early game because there are so many mechanics in this game that it gets overwhelming. Achievement progress is very similar to Isaac. Similar. It feels a lot like Isaac. If you follow me around town, you can probably find a beard hair on the ground. Is that a real ceiling? That is a real ceiling. Yep. Let me see. There was a question. God damn you fuckers. Is there a way to share cats? No. I think somebody was asking if there was a max to stats and abilities. There is a max to I gotta turn this down. To the stats that your cats can be born with. But no, there's no cap to stats once you've taken on an adventure. I've had some cats where I purposefully, and a lot of testers do it as well, try to just see how busted you can make one stat and try to make the fattest cat in the world. And I've had some cats that have like 120 and 140 health, just by raising constitution into obscene amounts. So there's no cap on that. When it comes to abilities, I believe you will have, you can have 4 actives. There's a bonus active slot, so you can break that rule. There are always ways to break the rules, but for the most part, you're going to be getting 4 active abilities, 2 passive abilities, and up to 2 disorders for each cat. And each of those abilities can possibly get leveled up depending on how far you are on the level tree. And every ability has a level up. And then each cat can hold 3 armor. So one armor slot is on the neck, 1 armor slot is on the head, 1 armor slot is on the face. And you can hold a trinket / consumable in one hand or pocket, and the other can hold a weapon. So those are the item slots. I think somebody was asking about, are there ways to break the game? Of course there are ways to break the game. We're trying to make it not, easy to break the game, but it doesn't stop testers from breaking the game. We've had quite a few people showing off ways that they've killed mid to late game bosses on turn 1, but they worked for it. They did some really complicated stuff and figured a lot of things out. So it's not like we want to take that away from you. Is Mewgenics coming to console? Yes, it's very possible. Will the cats have names like in Isaac? So there are an infinite number of cats. So there won't be an infinite number of names. Actually, be on the lookout. If you guys follow me on Twitter, I'll probably be posting a link in the next month or 2 to submit your cat's name and or your name and or whatever else name that you want to see in the game, for us to add as a possible name that will be randomly generated, or randomly chosen, I should say, whenever a cat is created in the game. Can you force cats to breed? No. You cannot force cats to breed. They will only breed if they want to. There are even animations, so like if you were watching earlier, you saw that I couldn't get two cats to breed. It took like 4 days, and then they finally bred. Behind the scenes, it's rolling some dice and trying to see the compatibility and whatever else of these cats. There are actually full animations of a cat attempting, like it'll let you know, like this cat really wants to mate with this other cat, but it's being rejected. So you'll literally see the cat knock the other cat away, or just like shake their head and walk off screen or whatever else. And this might make the other cat angry, or maybe the cat that's being approached and constantly bothered is gay or just has really low libido and does not want to mate. That might cause aggression. The cats might fight, and the fights are simulated as well. So there's like a whole fight cut scene where the cats will they might damage each other, they might not, they might just like lock up, nothing happens. One might kill the other one. It's, you have to be careful when you see an aggressive cat that you've taken in. I've had many situations where I'll have like an aggro cat that's just going around and killing everything, or killing kittens or whatever else he can get his hands on. A danger to the room that I have to isolate him, because it's still, I like what the cat's abilities are. So I'll just put him in a room by himself. This is a Kingdom Death shirt, which is pretty appropriate for this, because Kingdom Death is one of the inspirations for the game for sure. I got to get off of here soon. Can you castrate or sterilize cats? No, not yet anyway. Wait, no. There's always an exception to every rule. Yes, you can, but not in the way you're thinking. Release the debugger. You just want to make a bunch of cats. I'm sure that that's something that people will do once the mod stuff comes out, for sure. The achievements are just the basic stuff, like every end cap of the game, which from afar looks like six different end caps, similar to how Isaac's end caps are. Each of those has an unlock tied to each class, and there's a lot of classes, so that's kind of stuff you're kind of looking at for that. Favorite character? One of my favorite classes, I'm assuming you're talking about classes. One of my favorite classes has not been shown, so I can't talk about it. That's probably my favorite one. But I really like them all. There's not a class that I don't like. They're all really good and interesting. We do a lot of polling in our test group to see what people feel are the best classes and the worst classes, or the most fun classes and the least fun classes, and it's, for the most part, there are a few classes that I think we all agree are pretty strong, but outside of like a top 2 or top 3, the rest of their numbers are pretty different. When am I going to make a new video game? You're either trolling me or you're just late to the stream. We hope to release by the end of the year. If we miss the end of the year release, then it will be the very, very, very first quarter of the next year. What are the unlocks new abilities? Yeah, there are a handful of new abilities per class, and there are also a ton of items. So it's mostly items and abilities. I mean, some events unlock other events. There's a lot of, I haven't really shown that, but there's some pretty cool events that are very D&D tables, where there's like a bunch of different ways to solve a problem. And each of those choices is a table that you roll on, and you can either succeed, fail, or critical success or critical fail. And each of those things has a different result. So you get situations where it's like, try to climb to the top of a tree. And it's, once you get to the top, there's a taller, this isn't a real thing, but this is an example. The tree goes higher, and then you do a random roll. And if you get that, then you go up to the very top of the tree, and then you see something off in the distance, and then you do a random roll. to see if you can tell what it is. And if you succeed that, then it unlocks a new event because you see a thing off in the distance. Maybe you see a shipping container. So then it would be like, you unlocked shipping container event. And then the next time you go on a run, there's a chance that you might now find the shipping container as a random event and then attempt to open it. There's a lot of really neat stuff with that. You can kind of pet the cats. The cats' names are randomly generated. Do I think Mewgenics is better than Isaac? I like it more. I mean, there's no way it will be perceived as better than Isaac. I mean, I don't think so. Maybe by a select few people. Like, it's not going to be anywhere as popular because Isaac is, like, astoundingly popular. But I think it's a better game. Like, I do. And it might just be maybe it's more my type of game. I don't know. I like it. I think it's my best game, personally. But not everybody will probably agree with that. There are people who think that Super Meat Boy is better than Isaac, so you never know. Do cats age? Yes, they age. Once they hit a certain threshold, they will become old. There's a little cutscene for it where it shows them aging. And then from then on, there's a random roll every time you pass the day to see if they die. And, you know, cats don't live forever. So either donate them to an NPC who wants them or breed the hell out of them. I've seen some, my wife, Danielle, is up probably 250 hours in. And she always lets me know if this cat is still alive. She's got a cat that's like 68 years old, like some impossible number where it should have died, but it stays alive and it has not died yet. And she keeps breeding it. It's cool. It adds to the story, really. Can cats steal items from other cats? You get items many, many, many different ways. You cannot steal them, but you can unequip them and then give them to other cats. Is there any way you can revive cats after death? Of course. Like the answer to like every single one of your questions is probably going to be yes, and there's some way to do that. The way death works in Mewgenics is when a cat or most enemies, when a cat or most enemies takes lethal damage, they are downed, which means they become a corpse. With cats, it's not considered a corpse, but I mean, kind of is. It's a downed cat. It's an unconscious cat. Now, when the body is on the screen, it is an object, and it can be interacted with. Enemies, when they're downed, become corpses. They don't reanimate unless something reanimates them, or they have some ability to reanimate. But you can interact with the body in many different ways. In the same way that when a cat gets downed, you can interact with the body as well. So when a cat is downed, it will start with three death armor, which means that the cat can take 3 hits before it is killed. And don't worry, like, there's no enemies in the early game that try to kill corpses, but that's definitely something that will happen late game. When a body of a cat is destroyed, they're gone, completely gone. Anything that they were carrying on them is destroyed. And if all cats are downed, you lose. And each time a cat is downed, they take a serious, like an injury, either to basically -1 to any stat. It's not that bad, but and that's kind of how the game's death works. Why is Repentance Plus still in beta? Because they're still working on it. I'm guessing. How long can a Mewgenics run last? It really depends on how you want to play. I'm averaging runs at about 1.5 hours per run. I've seen people play a little faster, and I've seen most people play a little slower. So full runs can take between like 1.5 hours to 2 hours. Are the equipped items cosmetic? Of course they are. Of course they are. I made the Binding of Isaac. Of course they are. Not only that, but they even have back-facing stuff. So like you'll see items that maybe go on your head that have a front and a back to them, which is kind of cool. You get to see that. And the same thing with like weapons and stuff. They'll have like icons on the board, but then the actual item in their hand is differently drawn slightly, you know. Cats that die in the house or are down in the house are dead. They're gone. There's no body in the house. This is only on adventures. Mewgenics will work with the controller. Can cats shapeshift? Yeah, of course. You got to figure out how, but yeah, they can shape. They can do that. Minigun cat? Yeah, there's a minigun. There's lots of guns. This is the first game I've done that actually has guns and other weapons. Will Mewgenics have mental illnesses? Yeah, there's many mental illnesses, general disorders, birth defects, all that stuff. All that stuff is there. Is the mech item a class ability? You must be from the Discord. Yes and no. Yes and no. There is actually an event that can spawn the mech if you can repair it. Can my cat get type 1 diabetes? I believe diabetes is on the list. If it isn't in yet, it will be by the end. I don't have a story behind Tech X. There's no story. It's Tech 10. It's just in the future. I was doing a bunch of techs, and then I thought, well, there's this visor thing I want to do. I had the effect I wanted to do, and I called it Tech X because I thought, okay, this will be the 10th tech in the future, and I'll call it Tech X. There's your story. Once again, go wishlist on Steam if you're here. I hope all of you have wishlisted. Go to Steam, search Mewgenics, and click wishlist. It helps a lot. It'll make me like you more as a person. What's my favorite disease or illness? Like I said before, I'm a huge fan of dyslexia. That's one that you can really draft around early. If your cat is born with it, or you can acquire dyslexia from a severe head wound or head injury. It's telling me that I need to verify that I'm a real person. Yeah, you get head trauma or something else, you can become dyslexic in the game, which usually sucks on a run because it's pretty bad when everything kind of flips around and you can't read anything either, which is hard. But if you bring your cat back and you breed the dyslexia into its kittens, you can kind of plan around it. And I think I said before, dyslexia flips threes and 5s become reversed, and 9s and 6s become reversed. So if you've got an ability that deals 3 damage and costs 5 mana, if you're dyslexic, it deals 5 damage and costs 3 mana, which is very good. And you can draft around that. So when you level up and you've got 4 different abilities to choose from, you can very easily draft around those abilities. But I like Primordial Dwarfism is crazy. That one's just bonkers. It's hard but interesting. I've had elephantiasis and gigantism, and the list goes on. It's absolutely insane. Even some bad ones like rabies are really cool to play with. It's fucking too fast. I can't read your goddamn shit. Is there any fake illness and mutation? I don't know what that means. There are no mini games. There were 2 mini games planned, 2.5, and we ended up cutting them because they are unfinished and didn't add a lot to the game. They were kind of just something to do in the house. Mewgenics won't have multiplayer when it comes out. We might explore that later, though, if it blows up. When is it coming out? End of year, if not end of year, just at the beginning of next. I'm not removing the host from the game. By the way, there are hosts in Mewgenics, but they're not as annoying. Can the cats end their lives? I mean, yes, they can. That is a mechanic into itself. There is a class that likes being dead and finding ways to be dead. So, yes. The answer is yes. Will Mewgenics have seed codes? I don't know how that's working behind the scenes. I'm not sure. If we do daily runs, they definitely will. I got to get off of here. Okay, is that a question? Can you get the boss cats in your house? Not all the house bosses are cats. And no, because they're not actually cats. Which is another fun fact. There are many different types of enemies, and we keep track of those types and things that are identified as cats. You'll see. But no, you cannot take in. Well, there's an exception to every rule. Yes, I'll change my answer and say yes. There are ways to bring bosses into your house, or at least, keep them there. We're thinking $30. I'm going to do 2 more questions, then I'm going to go. I am stoked, too. God damn it, guys. Oh, my God. Does age affect cats? It doesn't. It does scare the hell out of my wife, though. She's like, he's old. He's not going to be able to breed anymore. Currently, age doesn't affect cats. We want you to be able to be like, oh, shit, I need to breed this cat. And we don't want to make it harder for you to make babies before this cat dies, I think it would be a big feel bad. And the last question is, any special cats that aren't random? The answer is yes. I just went through and made like 20 of them recently. Those cats or things, those things, they are not cats. Maybe there's like 1 or 2 that are cats. But those special things are extremely, extremely rare. You will see them as strays. Like we're talking like crazy rare. And they will have their pieces, some specific pieces, when bred, will count as mutations that have attributes. So you'll be able to, like, this isn't, I'm going to make an example of something that's not in the game. Jason Voorhees. Let's say Jason Voorhees appears as a 4-legged creature on your, what are you doing? Oh, the cat's going crazy. Come over here, Puggy, come here. Jason Voorhees appears on your doorstep, and he's got his mask, and that's like the only special thing that like about him. And you breed his mask face into another cat. Maybe that mask face that you're breeding into other cats has like +4 armor and like a 5% chance he comes back from the dead at the end of each round if he's downed. Come here. And here's a Mewgenics cat. It's Puggy. It's Puggy. Boogity, 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 boogity. Where are you going? It's Puggy. All right, guys. That was fun. Go wishlist the game for real. If you do, I'll be your friend. It really helps.